All right, welcome back. Jabba the Griffin here. I want to be extremely upfront right now, and I want to warn you that I have heard rumblings about this game. Now, if you'll recall, I believe it was round one, I narrated H-Clat versus Blightbringer, and that was a 424 turn marathon of pain. And as I pointed out several times, I am not well suited for these types of matches. I actually recently played some ladder games, uh, diving back into it, and I think I capped at like 20 turns. So that's just the kind of guy I am. That's the kind of game I like to play. The kind of game I like to watch. Past two games were fantastic. If you ignore the fact that there was absolutely no counterplay, and it was just one team having a good matchup against the other one. Anyway, this one is going to go a while. So if you did not like H-Clat versus Blightbringer as either a match or as listening to me speak nonsense for an hour. I don't. Hopefully, this one doesn't go that long. I've heard it shouldn't, but even half the time, let's say, So you're gonna have to buckle up, get ready. We're about to watch a long one. This is an episode of TV coming up, and buckle in. Decide if you want to waste part of your life with me, and we'll watch this bad boy together. And I'll see if I can add anything constructive. That's the bar for me here. If I can make at least one constructive comment, I'm gonna consider this narration a win. Okay, so let's start this off. Asta just brings the Flygon again, obviously, because it literally just won you a game. So obviously you're gonna bring it again. Just keep rolling. This time, however, Gorgie has a plan. He says, "I got this, Suicune. Get that nonsense out of here." Surprising that this one goes long, considering we got the Mag Scarm matchup. Maybe we'll see a situation where Asta is able to catch the Mag at some point. Obviously, I'm discussing this with the knowledge that this does go long, so that adds a little wrinkle to my narration. Usually I wouldn't expect to see the Mag come out that early, and then the match lasts that long, considering you assume Scarm's going to go down pretty quickly. But either way, this is a Roar Suicune, and that is a sub CM, not sub CM, sub Leech Seed BP, which is an interesting set, not one I've seen a lot. Pretty good, depending on what you're passing to. And Asta is just being extremely cautious about that Magneton. And Gorgie is not going. Looks like he's gonna be probably avoid doing the straight switch again. And Asta is playing a little coy. So maybe maybe we will see a Dougie at some point. That'd be really interesting if he's able to nail it. And I think we'll be, if he does, and he does actually have a Dougie in the back. Right now, I'm not 100% certain. It's not something that looks like it would, but this isn't. We haven't seen that many kind of Flygon based stallish teams, so it very well could be. I would like to see a Blissey in the back from Asta, because right now he's looking at the kind of team that just straight up loses to Calm Mind Super Celebi. Missing the Toxic right there is pretty big. So we're probably going to see Gorgie switch out right now. But he doesn't. So good on him, and he's able to break the sub. And now this is a I wanted to highlight this before the Celebi came in. It was really important. We're gonna see. I think this is kind of gonna set the stage for how Gorgie is gonna play this going forward, because we have such a really interesting kind of micro game going on with the Skarmory Magneton, and they're both playing extremely passively with it. And I don't think Asta is ever going to want to get that Skarmory in without having like a BP pass to it or something, or a sub rather, BP to it, a BP pass to it. I'm at 15 turns in. I'm already losing it. We got a lot more after this, so keep an eye out on that and just watch how both players play it. They're playing extremely cautiously. And the way Asta's playing, I would love if he just perfectly nails the Dougie turn. I will call him a god if he has the Dougie in the back and he's able to, after all this micro play going on, he's able to nail it. But if he doesn't, then we're probably just going to see him play extremely cautiously for a very long time. So anyway, so we've never seen the last move. I guess it could just be HP Grass, which means it's just recover. So Gorgie will probably spin here. And then we'll probably see like a sub come down. No reason not to, really. Gorgie has a Gyarados, so we're looking at a Magneton Gyarados team. So, he really wants that Skarm down. He's who went first? So that's going to be Celebi going first, so he's able to get the seed off before the sub is popped. We'll see where the seed damage takes him. Not a great situation for Gorgie to be in, though. The Celebi's not healing a ton off, but he will sub again, then he'll seed again. And maybe this is the spot. If this is rest, maybe this is the spot where we see the rest come in. If not, probably just roar. He does get the rest in right here, so we're likely to see this BP'd. We'll see what he goes into. Maybe Skarm again. And then if he goes to the Skarm again, he'll get the layer up, and then Gorgie will probably go Claydol here again. Or break the sub. That's another option, of course. Although, since it was past a 101 sub from the Celebi, this Thoth does not break it. Asta opts for the Toxic right here, which hilariously enough comes down on the Heal Bell turn. We see Heal Bell with 8 PP. We could see that come into play later and be very relevant. But now the Suicune is back awake and ready to do some more roaring on that Celebi, which now Gorgie knows the full set and just knows that he can kind of play that all day with the Suicune, and he just roared out whatever he wants. Obviously, he wants to get this spin off too. He doesn't want to have his stuff keep taking the damage. I'm surprised he didn't just spin there, because he's subbing anyway. And what's he gonna BP to that you really care that he BPs to? And he does go to the Claydol anyway, so the Gyarados was just a detour. I guess that's probably why he didn't go right to it. Yeah. Obviously, should have noted that. So that's the issue, obviously, and for some reason that wasn't obvious to me. The reason he doesn't just go Claydol there and spin off and whatever is because this is going to be a great recipient, the T-Tar, to take the sub and then obviously get the pursuit off. So that's going to be problematic for Gorgie going forward. We'll see how he deals with the fact that his Claydol just got chunked a lot. So here comes a roar in right now. Oh, CM first. He's gonna CM up first. This is rough because this is a spot where Asta can fish for a crit, but you don't exactly want to. I mean, a crit here probably just blows it open and wins, but you don't want to let it CM up. But there's no way he doesn't just roar there. He fishes for the flinch right there, figuring that if he can do that and then the EQ kills, but the EQ won't kill, by the way. That's how, right? The EQ would have, oh no, the EQ would have done, hold up. Quick maths. Rock slide at 75 power. Okay, so double that. It was like right on the edge. EQ probably would not have killed. Hence why Asta actually just went for a second rock slide. I'm wondering if you're Gorgie, if you just go for it there. I mean, is it worth risking another 30%? I don't know. I'd probably just go for the rest there. I mean, he does have a lot to rest in on, I guess. It will be difficult. He's gonna probably struggle to find a spot to get that rest in. Maybe that was just a turn you go for a rest. Anyway, so all we've seen is HP flying on this. Once again, we're in a situation where Gorgie actually is struggling with a Flygon. This one gets a Toxic in. We'll see if this is also just rest Gyarados, which would be hilarious. We just got like a full rest squad. Ooh, wow, that is a play right there. It does literally 0, but it's still a play. You got some chunk damage on the arrow. Pretty hilarious. Anyway, it's Psychic Pursuit. Metagross. I gotta be honest. I really like Asta here. Unless Gorgie is just able to at some point get that Magneton in. Oh wow! And great play by Gorgie. He gave himself a 1 in 5 chance to have it whirlwinded in because he was assuming that the whirlwind comes in like it did right there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that time. He will get the spin in right here, though, and a little bit of healing on the Claydol, which is nice. Not worth it. I was just about to say, because that T-Tar can just come right in, and then you're stuck again, and then you're going to get pursued. This is an interesting and a very dangerous play, and it worked out, because odds are, I appreciate that. Gorgie says I appreciate that. Odds on favorite says that's Fire Blast, and if he just kills that Magneton right there, I'm pretty sure that's game over. Anyway, I really like Asta's matchup here. I think in the long term, he's looking really favorable. Gorgie just really needs that Magneton to come in on the Skarmory, and he fished his shot earlier. He almost just threw the Magneton away. And now he's going to have to get in at some point. After the pursuit, it comes in again. It's at 39 plus 6. So, 40, 45. The Gyarados getting more HP. Flying's in, just trying to very slowly force down this Flygon. He just wants it dead eventually. See, now with this T-Tar paralyzed, maybe he's in a better situation to kind of force the EQ. I wonder if he will go for a spin right here. No, he tried to predict the T-Tar switch and EQ it, and Asta very nicely stays in Toxics, and now I'll probably switch to the T-Tar. Yep. But Gorgie still playing cautious. Doesn't take the turn to spin. He just really does not want the Claydol call it. He'll just be patient. He'll bell it up and then find another spot to do it. Absolutely amazing double right here from Asta. We'll see if he, what he does with it. Oh, that was counter Bliss. If you remember game 1, I said it's, unlikely he'll bring it again because the surprise factor is a little dead. After you bring it once, someone's going to look out for it again. And that's kind of what happened right there. Is Asta just kind of switched out, didn't bother trying to push any damage on the Blissey, and then got caught out with the counter, which wasn't able to accomplish anything. This is an interesting game. I do like this match better than the H-Cut Blightbringer match because I think there's more counterplay. Things can die. You know, there's not a lot of healing on both sides. There's some rest, there's some whatever. We're not in PP stall territory. We have more than a few Pokemon that are just going to die once damage is pushed on them, but there's this kind of like just a little micro war where both players are trying to keep specific things alive by playing a little cautious at times. Gorgie does finally get the spin in, which is nice. And he's slowly getting the Claydol back to a reasonable health. Asta going to pass to Arrow there, which is interesting. Not sure how much this accomplishes. I guess he can try and predict Metagross and EQ here. That's probably what I would do, since you don't even care about double-edge damage on anything. But he doesn't do that. He just double edges, and the Metagross shakes it off. And so, but Asta's still in the same, similar feedback loop. Looks like that Metagross isn't going to be able to crack a 101 Celebi sub with anything. Probably not Pursuit. Is probably too bulky for that. He will get the seed in right here. I wonder if he just like full recovers here. There's no way. There's no way that HP flying is doing a ton. I don't know the numbers maybe, but anyway, he just he BPs to the Arrow. He'll double edge again here, or not. Probably expects the Gross. Yeah. Now here's a precarious position again, because Asta, when he willingly goes to the Skarmory in this situation, is very much inviting the Magneton. And so we're at this situation again. What is Gorgie gonna do now that the Skarm is switched in naked? He has several options. He can fish for the Whirlwind into the Magneton. He can go straight Magneton. I don't think Asta stays in here. I don't think he stays in Spikes. I don't think he stays in the Whirlwinds. I think he goes maybe Flygon. Possibly Celebi. I do not think he stays in here. So we'll see what Gorgie does in light of that situation. You could Pursuit for 10% probably. I don't know whether there are options Gorgie has. We have not seen this full set. You could hope. I don't know what your last is, but maybe you could, if it's maybe Mash, maybe you could fish for a Mash crit on the Celebi or the Flygon. So maybe if I have Mash, I click it, but I do not think Asta stays in here. He goes to his own Magneton. Oh, and catches Gorgie's Magneton. Gorgie, I do not like that play. He got caught out, my man. There was no world where Asta stays in there. Anyway, that is absolutely huge for Asta. Now he's just going to play this game. He's going to spike up freely, and that's going to be that. Then Gorgie's going to have the Claydol counterplay and whatnot, and he's going to spin off. But I think the war of attrition eventually goes to Asta. I don't think there's anything I'm seeing on Gorgie's side that would indicate that he might win. Arrow, I don't think is going to put in a lot of work. I don't think the Magneton is. So, Asta's going to be in a situation where he's going to struggle to kill the Blissey. He's going to eventually have to force all the heal bells out. I think that's how Asta wins from this spot. You just force the heal bells. I'm not sure I would be dropping 3 letters. What's the PP on Spikes? I don't know. Yeah, here's another heal bell coming in. You can just probably spike up again. Go to Celebi. That's another option. Drop a Leech Seed. Do what have you. So this is at the point where just not much is going to happen for a while. They're just going to play, do what they have to. I think just the end goal here is just force out all 8 heal bells. And I think once you, which Gorgie is down to 4. And I think once you force out all those heal bells, I think Asta has the win. And I gotta attribute that to just getting caught out by that Magneton. I just do not think that was the right play. I don't think there's any world where Asta stays in there. But really well played. He kept that last hidden for a while. Thought it might have been Doug, but it was Magneton. But it's irrelevant. They accomplished the same exact thing, which was to trap Gorgie's Magneton and just make it so now his Skarmory is pretty much unkillable by Gorgie. And just going to come in, be able to spike, toxic, force out all these heal bells. Anyway, kind of meaningless exchange right here. Although maybe keep an eye on Stoss's. Because once they go down 2, nah, that's not as relevant as the soft boiled's going down. Yep, not much to say about what's going on for the time being. Astra's just way ahead, and maybe I guess this is the point where we theorize what could save Gorgie in a world where he can theoretically win this game. And he's just gonna soft boil that off, and it accomplishes nothing. Then he'll go to the gross again. Maybe try and catch it with the mag. No, it's got EQ. It's got EQ. There's no point. In what world does he win? Because we've seen this full set. Roar, rest, calm out. Yeah. What's the which seed at 9? So Gorgie's out is Suicune. Okay, he's gonna need to stall out the leech seeds, of which there are 9 left, as you can see on your screen. You're gonna need to stall out those leech seeds and then set up CM. The issue is that this Magneton is going to beat the Suicune one-on-one without a crit on Suicune's end. So if I'm Asta, I just keep that Magneton there and healthy for the rest of the game. Do nothing else with it. It's just there to play as late game Suicune check. That is Magneton's only role going forward. It will do nothing else. Okay? So I think that specifically keeps the Suicune in line. And should make it so that even if Gorgie is able to stall out the seeds, that you're still good. Good roar for Gorgie. Nice that he was able to get in. He'll be able to spin because things were looking a little rough there without being able to get that spin off. And he's able to now eat the toxic. But instead has to just start spiking again, and he'll probably just enter the same exact feedback loop. He'll spike, and he'll toxic. But he doesn't. He actually he whirlwinds out. I don't think that accomplishes much. I would just want to get toxics on the Claydol, because the second you get toxic on the Claydol, which you have 11, which I guess is another option for Gorgie, another out, is to bait all remaining toxics out, onto things they can't affect, like Metagross, which enters into a little prediction war. He can just does pressure affect toxic? That's a good question, and one I should know the answer to, but I don't. So that's exactly what Gorgie wants to do. And it looks like he found that line, and that's the line he's going to chase. It's just trying to bait all those toxics out before the before heal bells run out, because that, like I said, is another out. Asta is going to really struggle to kill the Claydol, if all the toxics are gone. But these layers are starting to put in work. We're getting some favorable whirlwinds for Asta now. Gorgie just throws in a surf into the whirlwind, and Claydol comes back in. We'll see if he spins now, and he will. That's funny that the Scarm is faster than the Claydol. Not like it's really relevant here, but it'll spike back up. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. You know, this is just Asta's probably coasting a little bit right now, just playing. I mean, Gorgie just can't do anything to the Scarm. That's just half the reason I don't like relying on Magneton to deal with the Scarm, because if something like this happens, you're playing downhill. That's why I run Mix Zapdos for real men. Does get a Stoss in. Put some chip on the Skarmory. That's another way to work it down. Is just keep pushing chip. You know, like push a. Here comes a spin though. You got to spin this off. And yeah, I don't really know where this one goes from here for Gorgie. He does bring the Suicune back in, and maybe he surfs here, gets more chip. Maybe in a perfect world he can just crit, but instead he just goes for the rest. Asta whirlwinds, and the Gyarados comes out, which we have not seen in a while. I wonder if he wastes a toxic here. I think Gorgie is fine with that, so hopefully Asta doesn't. And he doesn't. He just whirlwinds again. There's no reason not to. He can drop another layer here. Although that's interesting with the Gyarados asleep. Whenever the Claydol gets rolled, oh no, the Claydol hasn't been heal belled up recently. My mistake. So Asta has absolutely no reason to toxic for a while. The first time, yeah, that was the first protect. Funnily enough. And Asta goes to T-Tar. We haven't seen that in a while either. Kind of been the Suicune Claydol Gross Blissey show versus just Skarmory. Just the four of them versus Skarmory. What are we down to on heal bells? 2? Yeah, this is not looking good for Gorgie. He pushes another Seismic Toss on. Asta not really feeling putting more layers up. This might be a good time to throw another layer up. No, he's just gonna keep whirlwinding. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of getting another layer up, because Gorgie's gonna push another Seismic Toss, and maybe this is when you finally switch out of the Skarm, because you don't want to take that much damage on it. You don't want it to be in killable range, and he does switch out. We'll probably throw a seed out right here, and the Claydol does come in again. He recovers instead. Same thing effectively. Maybe Asta chases a pursuit here, or chases a sub into a sub into the T-Tar is a much better play. So sub into the T-Tar, but Gorgie probably switches. So yeah, to prevent that exact situation. So Asta just passes to the Magneton. One of the few times Magneton actually can come in, and you're completely fine with it. And he does get the Toxic in on the Blissey. And so that's a good spot. Blissey can't exactly just he'll build it off because that obviously wastes the ones it needs for Claydol. That was a pretty big crit. I wonder if he chases it. He doesn't, or I mean, he does chase the keep bolting, but Gorgie goes to Claydol, which Ass is completely fine with. Here's an interesting situation. What are you thinking here? Because you really want this to heal up. Is this the turn you go back in? If I'm Asta, I try to 1000% make sure that Blissey can't come back in here. So I want to go these two, but I don't think I do right here. What do I go? Do I go Flygon here? Psychic Earthquake. It's probably not Ice Beam, right? What does going Flygon even accomplish? You know, unfortunately, this is the Magneton that's in because the Ball's play is to just T-Bolt. But because you need the Magneton, in my theoretical world, you don't actually 100% need it, but there is a chance for Gorgie to bring the end game back around if you don't have it, so you don't want to risk it. But in a perfect world where you just don't need it anymore, you just T-Bolt and hope that he tries to double in the Blissey right here. But like I said, you can't because of that exact scenario. But anyway, this is when he does go Blissey, and Asta goes for the Protect, which accomplishes nothing. Maybe a double there was the correct play. Either way, the Blissey's gonna heal back up. I mean, it's not like Asta really cares. That's what you got to take into consideration. That's the Blissey healing back up is not something he overly has to worry about. It's obviously nice to take advantage of a situation like that. You know, you crit the Blissey, and if the Blissey's dead, then, you know, that makes your job that much easier. But you win the war of attrition as it is right now, so as much as you want to take advantage of that situation, it's not the end of the world. If you don't, there's a seed miss. That's pretty huge. That thing's got to be running out of seeds soon. And once it does, I think we're going to see Gorgie start CMing up. That was a pretty nice surf for Gorgie. Probably push it again, and we do see. Oh, now he clicks Call Mine. That's pretty nice. I wonder if he maybe roars here. CMs again. There are a couple options. Bait the leech seed on this. Gives you a free spin. Gorgie has a lot of options. At the end of the day, he has one goal in mind, and that goal is to get rid of all the leech seeds for the Suicune. So no matter how you really play that, I think you're close to the point where you just cannot let the Claydol get toxic anymore, or else it's just dead. And you can't just let 3 layers be the rest of the game, because this stuff's gonna happen. I'm surprised he didn't just push Surf there. No, because you don't want to run out of Surfs either, because that's another way that Acid just wins. You gotta be careful with those. Definitely interesting because we haven't boiled down to a full PP stall war. It's more of a targeted war, in where each player kind of has a certain few moves that are very crucial to the remainder of the game. And so the game right now is trying to get the other person to burn those exact moves. I think Asta overall just has the advantage in that situation. Toxic is another one. If he runs out, that's done. He's got 2 heal bells left. And if that's accurate, which I don't know if it's accurate, that's 7 toxic. And he eats another toxic. That's a ballsy play. I wonder if he just rests right here. Scarm back to 100% health, by the way. Not surprising, obviously. He was never really presented with a chance to push things down a little more. So Gorgie knows his outs, and he's been playing towards them. It's a crit on the arrow. I don't think it's that important. Arrow has just kind of been there, just kind of existed in the world. That's pretty huge. And he does go for the EQ, and then is met with the crunch. But I think that's a perfectly fine exchange for Gorgie anyway. The only way that could have went bad is if there was a crit. And now he can just safely spin right here, I think. I don't think there's any downside to spinning. You get back up to 54% and you get rid of the spikes. And then you can go out. Maybe you can even go out to Suicune. Oh, that's rested. Yeah, you can do that if you want. And Asta, Gorgie has to play on his phone, he says. Asta does get the Magneton, and he'll probably Toxic here. And he does. Hits the Claydol, which is actually pretty bad. Because that's a Toxic from a Magneton. He probably... About to say he could probably Toxic again. But yeah, that's really bad. You did not want that coming from the Magneton. I'm surprised he didn't just stay in Toxic again there, actually. I don't think there's much downside. Make this use more soft boiled. I don't know. I'm sure there was a reason, but I think I just stay in Toxic again. Here comes another seed, I imagine. Oh, did that heal bell? So one more heal bell left. One more heal bell. And Asta is going to start to force this Magneton Suicune situation. Misses the Toxic on Blissey, which I'm sure is pretty slightly annoying for Asta. Yeah, nothing has been happening that makes me think that Asta isn't going to just take his advantage into the end game. Gorgie running really low on time, by the way. Yeah, I don't have that in the actual video. He's been down to 10 seconds a turn. I think he had some issues with his internet. He's playing on his phone. It's a rough spot. If the situation wasn't already rough, now he's playing on a super short turn timer on his phone. So it's gonna be hard to get out of this situation. Harder than it already was. Scarm probably just protects here. Maybe Gorgie chases the CM. Nope. And Scarm doesn't protect. Probably assumes the CM's coming in. A little bit of gaming right there. Worked out in Gorgie's favor though, because now that Scarm probably actually just straight up loses to the Claydol Psychic. So that actually worked out really well for Gorgie, and maybe that's one way out. Yeah, he's gonna spin here. But this is a good spot to pass to the Skarmory rate. It's gonna take more than a while to break the sub, and Gorgie's fully aware of that, and is aware of the fact that Skarmory probably just gets like 20-ish% healing there. And now we're in a situation where maybe this will just, I don't know the correct play here. How low? The gross is really low, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is gonna win from here, right? That's just like game. You know, I talked about the arrows not doing anything. You know, it didn't have to do anything, really. Uh, Asta could have completely won without it, but because of the nature of how this match went, he actually just gets to rack up a couple kills from it. And as you can see, the Suicune's gone now, and that was the win con. I guess if this is rest DD. DD rest, hidden power, earthquake can actually win, kind of. I'm just trying to find a way out now that my hypothesized possible endgame victory for Gorgie's dead. I really, really just don't think he has one from this spot. He does get the spin off, which is really just nothing at this point. Because the Claydol got toxic and only one heal bell left. And now we're in this loop again, but Asta is way worse off than he previously was. Oh, I accidentally clicked through like I was watching myself. Anyway, he's EQing now. I guess he just really thinks that Asta was gonna go to Magneton on the Psychic. This Celebi is just gonna recover up and then seed and then kind of do its thing. Maybe this no, there's just no way. Even if this was DD, it would need to be last DD. And then I'm pretty sure the Flygon would probably just kill it from that point. Yeah, and it gets seeded. So it is a DD rest set. We'll see if the last is could be EQ, I guess. Could be Sleep Talk. Which would be absolutely terrible in this spot, but who knows? I would hope EQ. And then maybe there's a world where he has a chance, but it's very, very, very unlikely. Becomes ever more unlikely every single second that passes. I mean, this Flygon, I think, is extremely bulky. So there's a world in which Gyarados doesn't get 3-hit kill from Rock Slide. Maybe. I'm trying to stretch the definition of possible here. With seed at 6, yeah. If there's ever a world in which he can still seed, so it's still the same end game. We're still trying to stall the seed out, assuming that the Gyarados is a set that can win from this situation. You're still trying to push the seed stall. But I don't, once again, I'm just trying to find a way out, because I think this game has been over for a while. I think the game ended when Asta caught the Magneton with his Magneton. I think that was a fantastic play. I think Asta played it brilliantly. I think Gorgie walked into a trap. And I think that's where the game ended. And I think Gorgie's team is way too over reliant on catching the Scarm with the Magneton, and Asta just played around it, perfectly, and played into a situation where he's able to stop that from happening. And so we've just kind of been, in my opinion at least, I think we've been going through the motions for a while right now. It's been interesting to kind of speculate how I think Gorgie could pull this one off, but I don't think it was ever really likely he was going to. He tried his best. I think he saw the lines, but they were extremely difficult lines to make happen. I don't think even the best player in the game, assuming that it isn't Gorgie, not trying to throw shade at Gorgie. Maybe he is the best player in the game, but it's a lines that I don't even think that from the position that Gorgie was in, I don't think anyone was going to be able to really pull those off. It would have taken pretty much flawless play across the board. And we're talking like 30, 40 correct predictions. At least 20, I think you would need to nail. Definitely on toxics. That's the big one. You need to play the Claydol absolutely perfectly so that it doesn't get toxic more than your Blissey can heal Bell off. Anyway, what's still going on the screen, I think we're just still going through the motions. How many? Only has 8 soft boils left too, so. It's probably gonna lose pretty soon. Out of heal bells, I believe. So yeah, just like straight up loses to the to the Magneton, probably. He'll T-build it again. It'll be Stossed. Is he low on T-build? No, he just figured the Claydol was coming in. Not worth it, in my opinion. Getting a little fancy trying to predict that Claydol switch. This is actually probably where it comes in right here. Because now he's at a really good health. And he catches the Magneton with the Hidden Power Fire. Yep. Gorgie is given the old good game. So, yep. Like I've said, game was over. 100 and however many turns ago, 50 turns ago, that the Magneton catch happened, and we just been playing this game since then, and yeah, not much more to say about it. I can probably start clicking through pretty quickly. I think Gorgie's in the death throes. My timer is crazy. It's Gorgie. He's on 5 seconds. He can just time out. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm not gonna really spend too much time caring about this situation right now. We can just kind of fly through these end games. I've been here long enough. Put more effort into this one than I did the other one. I think the other one was a switch around. This one actually had, plays. Here comes another toxic, I'm sure. Yep, he can start EQing if he wants. He goes to the Gyarados. He can still just toxic again. You can just play this game all day. You're not going to stall the toxics out from this spot. I mean, you can try. Assuming he toxic to get. No, he finally went for the Rock Slide. He can still just toxic again, though. He can be in this pattern for a while. And he goes for the flinch. He does get the flinch on the Blissey. Oh, he seemed to switch out. Yeah. Try not to waste much more of your time. Here's going to be another Rock Slide. EQ's not going to kill from there. It doesn't have Ice Beam, though. Oh, this is when he's going to probably... no, because of that toxic, Rock Slide will definitely kill the Gyarados from here. Unless you miss. Miss is a way out. I don't think I spoke prematurely, but hopefully I didn't, because I just blew through a bunch of turns. Now, here we go. You double edge here? Oh, there it is. The crit will do it. And Gorgie just forfeited. All right. Well, that was the longest 6-0 I've ever seen. 222 turns. Just a little over half of my last one, but somehow this recording was just as long, which blows my mind. I think only 10 minutes shorter. I don't know why the other. I guess I must have just blown through the other one pretty quickly. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, that was that. Uh, if you are one of the few people in the entire world who has sat through this and through the H-Clap Lightbringer match with me, I have to question why. just why. Just why? Anyway, I will see you guys with the next series I get, and hopefully we can start to cut these matches down to the point where they're only 100 turns. I'll take that at this point. All right, everyone, take it easy. Catch you on the flippy flop.